Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, one of our basic human rights is the right to be safe, be it in our own homes, at work, in the street or in a relationship. Sometimes our safety can be compromised and it takes a great deal of courage to be able to live life normally once this has happened. So today we'll be giving you some tips to keep you as safe as possible. And today is Makeover Monday. So one of our guests today, called Linda Lim, she's going to be getting treated to a lovely makeover. So let's go meet her right now. Hello, Linda.
Hello.
How are you, my love?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. So we're going to leave you in the expert hands of our makeup artist, Theresa Maegan Gregoire. But first of all, Linda, let me ask you, why is it that you feel that you need a makeover at this particular time?
Down, I suppose.
You feel down?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I was saying that, when people get things, when they do things, they have it or they're busy. And I'm sitting at home, bored to death, and having nothing to do.
Okay, so you're looking for work at the moment?
Yeah. I'm doing freelance.
Freelancing. What is it you're looking for at the moment? What is it that you'd like to do?
Film and TV.
Film and TV, okay.
Yeah,
so you've been applying for things and things aren't coming back for you?
Yes, you apply and you're not get selected.
Yeah.
And then when you're not selected, you sort of think at the back, didn't ask loudly. You just think, what have I done wrong? Why am I not selected? Things like that. And when you, after a few times, you just thought something's not right somewhere. Yeah. Well, others can get selected and I don't get selected.
Okay. So we're going to be starting to help you start the process off by giving you a lovely makeover. Okay. And what are you thinking of doing, Megan, for her?
Well, I think, Chrissy, that Linda will not go unnoticed when we come out of that room, because I think that she's got fabulous features.
She has.
And it's just about accentuating and bringing out those best features, and it's not difficult. So we're also going to go over how she can do this when she is going to the set. Brilliant. Have that confidence and bring that, and they will do a second take.
Definitely.
Or maybe a third.
All right, so we're going to leave you in her capable hands.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we're going to come back and see the result, and I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. You're gorgeous already. We're going to enhance
Make
that
my
beauty.
day.
Definitely be enhancing the beauty. Okay, so we're going to come back to them a bit later on, but now let's go to the news with the lovely Excel. And here she is, the lovely Excel.
Oh,
pretty in lace. We're matching today.
I know. I think we must have sent out a memo to each other. Love it. Fabulous.
Isn't Linda gorgeous? She's lovely.
She's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's a shame sometimes when our confidence takes a knock, then kind of, other things kind of get shoved back and we don't believe in ourselves. But hopefully this makeover
this will kickstart everything.
Exactly. I'm hoping this as well, because she is gorgeous. Quite so, very much, yes.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about safety today. Now, I have to say, before we continue, we did have a guest that was meant to come on, and she'd been through quite a serious time, because she'd been she arrived home one day and she found a man in her house that was basically stealing everything in the house, and he took her and put her in the bedroom, I think one of the rooms, kept her in there. Obviously she was terrified while he took everything in the house, and then he came and robbed whatever she had with her. And then 6 weeks later she was actually mugged as well in the street. So obviously you can imagine it was quite a difficult thing for her to come on the show, but she decided sort of last minute that she wasn't actually able to come on and speak about it on a program. I don't know if she was afraid of the people that had what's the word, robbed her, assaulted her. So that's just to let you know that we did have someone on, but she couldn't make it. I think it's quite a scary thing to come and talk about on TV, isn't it, Excel?
Well, yeah, no, I agree, because I think that the experience of being robbed is sort of, in a way, it's like you're violated. I mean, it doesn't have to be an armed, incident, or it doesn't have to be something where you're beaten up or anything. But the fact that someone has sort of violated your security, your home, what you consider your safe haven, that must have been traumatic. To get locked in a room as well to the bargain, But hats off to you. It must have been, a difficult experience, and we wish her well.
We do.
Yeah.
Before we get into the news, Excel, let's just ask, have you ever been a victim of crime?
I think, thinking back, I would probably say about just over 10 years ago, I was robbed, as in pickpocketed. It was actually quite a hilarious experience. I even till today, I kind of think about it. I think I don't even understand how that happened, because I couldn't even see that happening. What it was, I got on the bus. I had my jacket on, and it had like a pocket on the inside, and I think I was on the phone, and I normally put my phone in that pocket. If I'm wearing a jacket, I put it in there and I zip up my top and everything. But on that occasion, I got on the bus, and I think I was making a call when the bus arrived. So I just put it on the outer pocket. And as this person got on the bus after me, he literally bumped into me, and I'm thinking, the bus is not that tight. Like, really, any excuse to cop a feel or something? Like, don't go there. And I just kind of gave him a dirty look, and I, moved on. But then when I arrived at my destination I think I got off the bus another 10, 15 minutes later, I was like, oh yeah, let me just, because I didn't want to talk on the bus. So I thought, let me wait till I get off. So I then reached for my phone. I'm thinking, my phone's gone. And I was in so much thinking, when did that happen? So I would have heard it if it dropped, because it wasn't a shallow pocket. And I thought, I would have heard it if it dropped. What's going on? And I realized that, it's Mr. Bump into me that must have nicked it. And by the time I then got home, and then I, tried to call my network provider to get them to cancel it, he had already made a 20-minute call to an international number. No. I shall leave the country nameless. Let's not, have a go at people from that country. But yes, it's a particular country. He called 3 numbers in that space of time and racked up, I think it was about 60 quid or something. 50, 60 quid, somewhere along those lines.
Are you able to get that back?
I wasn't able to. I called my network provider, and I said, look. That must
be so annoying. You lose your phone and then you have to pay for those calls as well.
Exactly. So, but I mean, that's definitely a low level crime. I'm not saying, that it didn't hurt me, but I can imagine people who have had to face things that are more traumatizing. What about you? Have you ever?
I've had my phone stolen twice. Ooh. Although it was my fault both occasions. I had them in my back pocket. I didn't learn the first time, so then it happened the second time. I had to think about this actually, because I kind of forget things. Mm-hmm. And then twice on the tube I've been assaulted by men, or they've exposed themselves and tried stuff. On a packed tube, that is. You know how these men take advantage when...
See, if you had taken a photo, it could have featured them as Scoundrel of the Week.
Well, yeah, I didn't know about this then. I kind of just froze, to be honest. I didn't know what to do. It was horrible. And then I've been punched in the face once as well by this very irate woman who was threatening to hurt some children that I was looking after at the time.
Right.
So then I kind of asked her politely to leave, and then she punched me, but she just missed mainly my face, but she kind of got my chin and my chest a bit. It was really heavy punch though. I'm so glad I moved out of the way. If that was full blown in my face, that would have really hurt.
My goodness. I think
only the police were only involved in the last one.
Yeah.
But they said she was very known in the area, and
she already had a reputation.
She already had a reputation in the area. And I was a little bit afraid afterwards when I was sort of out and about, because I thought maybe if she sees me, she'll try and hurt me, because she was quite a big lady and very, let's just say very, very angry. Yeah. I
think it's just unfortunate that, these sort of things just happen, and sometimes you can't catch the person, or sometimes you sort of, like in the case now, what was this woman even tried, for example? Was she arrested?
Well, they asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I thought, you know what, just leave it, because they knew of her already, and I thought she didn't really hurt me. I mean, it hurt for a few hours, but then it wasn't...
I think, it's just one of those, and I mean, I've had friends or, relatives who've sort of faced all sorts of things, like a relative was nearly raped, and she narrowly missed, in the first occasion, they weren't successful in carrying out the rape, but they came armed. Oh, no. And she was battered and bruised. And the second time round, they came back with 10 other guys. Yeah. So she counted as they went past her window, and she was like, oops. No, that's awful. Help, they're back. And, the second time they weren't successful, but the first time she left she had been beaten and sort of sustained a head injury. I mean, it's just...
there's some things, obviously, that can't be helped. You don't sort of go out expecting to be hurt or to be robbed, but sometimes I think maybe we do need to be more aware. Mm-hmm. And actually, afterwards, we will be talking about some personal safety tips for you if you are out and about alone, because we do have to be prepared. You can't just be walking along, thinking everything's wonderful, everything's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And actually, we'll be watching some street interviews about what people think about living in London, and I was quite surprised by some of the answers. but we're going to be watching that after the break, Excel.
No
and you do have
problem.
some news to share with us, don't you?
I do. I have some stories of people who were brave enough to do certain things, and I think that will make it for interesting.
Alrighty.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, but let's now go to the break, and don't forget, later on we're going to be seeing the lovely Linda Lim's transformation, because Megan is a wonderful makeup artist.
Of course.
And we can't wait to see the transformation. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to today's program, where we are speaking about personal safety. Now let's find out what the public had to say about whether they felt safe in London.
So I just wanted to ask you if you think you're safe.
Well, I think I'm relatively safe in London City. Depends, it's quite relative, the question on where you live in London.
Yeah, I feel pretty safe. I mean, this is just my first few hours in the city, but so far it's been lovely, and yeah, if I feel like I can walk around and everything's okay.
Yep, I feel safe. Lived in London my whole life. I've always felt safe, and I think I always will.
Wow. Yeah, I do feel safe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is quite a safe area, especially during the daytime.
At night?
Well, I don't live from around this way, so difficult for me to comment specifically on that. Where I live, yeah, I mean, I live in a market town up in North Hertfordshire, and I'd say it's very safe.
I find London a little bit obtrusive in the sense of, me being in a wheelchair and looked at as a different person. So it makes me kind of someone who could possibly be a target in London. So for me personally, I don't think London's very safe.
In London, yes, very safe.
What makes you think that you're safe?
I don't know, I just think I've been to quite a few cities and I've always felt safe to walk the streets of London, no matter what time of day.
What makes you feel safe? Is it because you see police around? Is it because of the people?
Yeah, I feel like it's busy enough. It's the right amount of busy, and I've seen a lot of police since I've been here so far. So it's yeah, I feel like it's well populated and friendly people so far. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Of course, very, very safe. It's a lovely place to live in, Life is very good. You have access to a lot of things. I mean, it's just a very lovely place to live in. It's like a dream place, I'll be surprised anybody complaining about living life here in London. It's to be a very big surprise to me, because it's really a very lovely place to live in.
I think he loves London.
I think he does too.
It's quite interesting because no one really, apart from the gentleman in a wheelchair that was mentioned, that he felt a bit of a target because of his disability, but everyone else feels safe here. Do you feel safe?
Is that reality? I mean, I suppose I'll agree with the other gentleman who says he doesn't have to live in these parts and he lives in Hertfordshire. I don't live in London currently, and so I suppose I deal with London in the daytime, and so yeah, I would say I'm pretty safe, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have any sort of. I'm very aware of my surroundings wherever I am anyway. So I kind of wherever I go into, I kind of make a conscious head spin 360 degrees to kind of be aware of where I am. And so I think as long as we take our own personal responsibility to be aware of our surroundings, then yeah, I haven't had, like I just mentioned about being pickpocketed, apart from that occasion, nothing like that has ever happened to me. So I think it also matters if you've been a victim of a crime, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as the guest that was going to come on probably mentioned, after being burgled and robbed in her own home, then obviously she must have felt quite frightened being outside, and then it happens again, and then imagine how she felt after that.
Yep.
I mean, I feel relatively safe, I have to admit, but like you said, I'm always sort of wary about, like, even when I come to the studio, I have to walk through like a dark road. So I look around first. I check the security cameras, see if there's anyone dodgy around, and then I come out. So I do check but you know, but relatively, I would say, but I do feel safer going out during the day. I prefer to go out during the day than in the evening, even when I'm with my husband.
Yeah, because riffraffs tend to hide in the dark, unfortunately. Well, they hide in the dark because it covers them, it hides them, and I think that's the thing about it. I think it's almost always a sort of, I suppose, a given that more things happen under the cover of darkness.
Yeah.
So if you know you're scared of being, you know, just don't go out at night or something. I don't know if there's any sort of way of avoiding. Because London, though, is a 24-hour city. That's the thing. Life doesn't really stop at 6 p.m. Not like some sleepy villages that I know.
Oh.
But I have to say, though, we have to mention somebody very dear to us in the studio recently got burgled as well. And he actually explained it to be the same way as mentioned, you know, in the first segment where we talked about where you kind of feel like your personal space has been violated. And he said he felt that as well, because it was also fairly recently. I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he did say that he felt like, you know, his space had been invaded. And, you know, I think I kind of saw a tear in his eyes, but we won't go there because he was a man. You know, men don't cry.
We might introduce you to him later.
Yes, he may feature very soon. But yeah,
I understand what he means,
definitely.
Though, because when something is taken from, when you know someone's been in your personal space some way, you do feel violated. How dare they?
Yeah.
How dare they take this, or how dare they do that? So
absolutely.
All right. So we've got 5 minutes to the break. We've got some news to share with us.
Yes, indeed. I have to say, I had to mention some people who who put their life at risk in a sense, because I wanted to look at this from a different angle as well. A young lady called Keisha Thomas this happened in a rally in 1996. I found this, it was quite interesting. It was this is in the south of the US of A, where they still have their Confederate flag, where where people are kind of, I suppose, openly racist, etc. And on that particular day, there was a Ku Klux Klan rally, and a man came out wearing a Confederate flag T-shirt right in the middle of almost like a lamb walking into a den of lions. He literally was brazen about walking into a group of because I think there were black youths that were protesting, and he came out almost like, yeah, what kind of thing, and being quite intimidating. And so the police were at another rally further down the road in a separate part of town, and so when he came out all brazen, they all jumped him, wanting to basically, squeeze the life out of him, for want of a better expression. But this young lady, who was a black woman, she actually covered him because they knocked him to the ground, ready to basically pummel him with all sorts of things they had in their hands. And she actually covered him on the ground, saying, "Stop this, let's not do, we've got to end this somewhere." And I think, I thought it was actually quite brave of her, because she was actually in high school. Her name's Keisha Thomas, and she literally just covered herself with him, with her body on him. And the other protesters had to stop. I think it was one of those things where you just think, whoa, like, okay, we got to back off now. And it was very, I suppose, brave in the sense that she put her life at risk, because I think that sort of situation doesn't really happen very often. And how did he react?
The fact that he got protected, does that change his views, or?
Well, it doesn't actually say that what he did, but apparently his son thanked her. So it doesn't say about
that's
him.
The way it starts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him, because she said she had experienced violence in her own life, and so she pretty much wanted to not, propagate this, because she saw this was going to end ugly. This was going to be ugly, and so when she did it, she said, when the son of the man thanked her, her beliefs were reaffirmed, and for her, she said she felt that she had broken a cycle of violence and aggression.
Good on her.
Yeah,
that was a very brave thing to do.
Yeah, very much so.
And you see how different people react differently to things, because she was a victim of crime, and she could have said, "Oh, do you know what? Because I was a victim, I'm going to make other people victims to get back at society," and But she didn't have that attitude, and through one act of very brave kindness, I would say, she's all right. Even not affected him in who she helped, but at least the son is going to start seeing things differently.
It's going to start from there. And I thought that was very quite noble of her in that sense. And I thought, wow, fair play to you, because, like you say, she could have just gone along with the crowd, and especially in that situation, especially in that situation where it was sort of like a clash of the racists anyway, she could have just gone along with her side and just get the fight just ugly. But anyway,
good on her.
I have to say something similar, not to be repetitive on the theme, but something similar happened to a man called Reverend Wade Watts, and he was actually cornered in a in a restaurant where, again, he was cornered by some KKK people who said to him, "We're going to do the same thing to you as you do to that chicken."
Oh.
So obviously he was about to have, he said he'd gone to a restaurant and he had ordered a plate of chicken, and he was about to eat that in front of, I think in front of his family. He had 30 members, because he's a reverend, so he had 30 of his members from his church and family in a restaurant. And so he was surrounded, and they said to him, "We're going to do to you what you do to that chicken." So he picked up the chicken and he kissed it.
Oh.
And literally,
seriously?
he said literally all the clan members who were around there with him, they all burst out into laughter, thinking, "What are you doing?" But of course, because obviously they wanted to scare him, but he didn't. He just kissed the chicken. Everybody started laughing. But the guy who was the leader, who had threatened him, got angry. But after a while, actually, apparently they became best friends.
Joking.
They actually became best friends,
so nice.
and he became friends with. So this guy became friends with the reverend, and actually even got him to start coming to church with him and everything, and he became a changed man.
Wonderful, you see.
So one act really can just nip it in the bud.
Brilliant. Excel, you're going to stay, aren't you?
Yes,
because we're going to have some more news, and actually later on we'll be sharing some tips on how to look after yourself when you're out and about alone. But after the break, we are going to go back to Linda Lim and Theresa Maegan Gregoire to see the wonderful transformation, so don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back everyone, and today we're talking all about personal safety, but we are going to be speaking about some tips later on. But now it's time to go back to our Monday makeover. So we were interviewing Linda earlier, who was telling us that she was feeling a little bit down in the dumps because she's been looking for work and has not been successful yet, but she's going to keep trying. She's not going to give up. But this is how she looked before her makeover. Let's take a look. Still gorgeous. All right, but let's take a look at her now. Hello, Linda.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Look over there. Look at this camera here next to me.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. How do you feel with the makeover?
Really nice.
Yeah? Do you like it?
Yeah.
What is it that you like the most about it, would you say?
Oh, I look so different from the first picture.
I think it's brought out your features, your beautiful cheekbones, the lovely eyes that you have. I think you look amazing.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Right. So now, do you remember how to do everything for when you go for your job interviews?
Maybe 10% of what Megan did.
But she'll give you some more tips, don't worry. So Megan, can you let us know what you've done here?
Yeah,
Great job as
absolutely.
usual.
Thank you, Chrissy. So with Linda, I'd just like to point out her eye shape. So in choosing colors for Linda, we wanted to bring the lids back. So again, Makeup 101. When you want to bring something back, Chrissy, do you got this one? What do you use, light or dark?
When you want to minimize something.
When you want to create depth?
Darker.
Right. So we chose the darker shadows in a matte, and I'll repeat this, in a matte shadow to create that crease. So it's actually brought more shape to Linda's eyes and created just a bright-eyed, young, vibrant look. And it really, really did work for her. And we also went and defined her eyebrows with warm brown type eyebrow cake. And the reason why I actually chose this color, Chrissy, as opposed to maybe an ashy, which we could have done, but her hair is, her hair is just so rich. And I wanted to bring that warmth. And I wanted to bring that warmth also to her eyebrows. So I chose this color. It's like a chocolatey color. And I just think it takes about 10 years off, as well as just matches this beautiful, rich hair color as well. So, in this, she's got the kind of duo here that I think just we chose perfectly. One of the things, Chrissy, also she was saying was that, she finds when she wears powders that she's a jokester, this one. She was saying that she looks in the tube mirror and you can see all these kind of dry, flaky skin. But one of the things is you do want to, as the skin matures, you do want to put that moisture back into the skin. So you don't want to use drying products such as powders. You want to use a cream base, especially if you have rather dry skin. You want to use that cream-based product because you're not going to have a shine. So if you don't have a issue with shine, then you really, there's not necessarily...
Were you using a lot of powder before, Linda? Were you just like that?
So we used
yeah, she was.
we used obviously a foundation and a blush, and I always love these blushes. They're the Daniel Sandler watercolor brushes, but they're very very easy to use, and they're, if you just look here, they're kind of, you just blend them in there, but they're water-based blushers. And they've got a lot of pigment. You don't need very much. You just feel your cheekbone, and it doesn't dry the skin. So where you could see your cheeks be kind of flaky, it's just pop that moisture back in. One of the things she also said she didn't own, and I don't know, she said she didn't own a mascara.
Really?
How do you survive?
How did you survive?
How did Linda survive without a mascara? But it's worth noting, and I'll just
she just said her lashes are too short, but
see,
this is
this is the thing, is that with short lashes, Chrissy, you want to get a makeup wand that looks like this, very thin, very long, not those thick, fluffy ones with all the different bits. Especially with Linda's eyes, she does have the eye shape that it's very precise and needs to be very precise, and so she's got this, nice, precise wand that if she's going to put her mascara on, it's not going to plop all over her face and look like some sort of, Halloween design. It's going to, be precise and bring out those luscious, full lashes that she's always wanted. And I don't understand why you've never purchased a mascara, but if you did, this would be the perfect brush for you, and for getting into those when you don't have a lot of lashes. They're very, very small.
And the mascara has made the eyes stand out as well, hasn't it? Yeah, definitely.
So you do want to get that the extent. Well, you can use any type of mascara really, just with the wand. Be conscious of the wand. So also what I love about Linda is that she's got this predominant Cupid's bow, and I know that you say that you look so much different than what you did when you first came, but you don't look absolutely different. Your beauty is just enhanced.
That's true, yeah.
And that's the thing, is we brought out those features. She's got amazing cheekbones, amazing structure, and amazing Cupid's bow and shape to her lip. So I was saying,
see, most of us have to draw that on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We did use a liner. We did use a liner only on the bottom. It was really needed. You don't need. She's got great lips, and then for you, it's that much faster because you can just blot. That she's got the liner already there, right? So she can just blot a nice stain. And we used Sienna in Laura Mercier, which is just a great, nice, deep red wine color. And it goes great with, I find a lot of kind of mature looks as well, is this deep color. And I think if she were to go to her work and she would auditioning or trying out, I think definitely they would say, oh my gosh, this girl needs to be employed. I pick her.
Oh, I wish.
So good. So, take these things. Obviously, we used another moisture-based kind of primer. Another thing is, too, if you are, having dry skin and you don't wear makeup products a lot, and when you do, it's going cakey, make sure that you do have that moisture and that skin care, where you are putting that moisture in and taking care of your skin before you're applying makeup.
Okay. So, Linda, did you enjoy the experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what are you going to go to buy tomorrow?
Mascara.
Yay, she's going to buy the mascara. Oh, and that. Yeah, okay, definitely. You definitely need that. Okay, so do you feel that you can be more confident now when you go to interviews, when you apply this sort of makeup for yourself? Do you think it's going to lift you up to...
rather than just slap on something, and then, as I said to Megan, powder, and when I got onto the train, and when the lights... the sun comes through the window, oh my God, what have I done? Yeah. And then I look so dry and flaky.
All right.
Yeah.
And you look absolutely beautiful.
And Megan says that don't use dry powder.
Yeah,
so I'm
use a
gonna
cream.
throw away
So
all
when
my
you go
dry
to your interviews from now on, don't go already thinking, oh, I'm not going to get this job. Go thinking that I'm going to get it, and if I don't get this one, I'm going to get the next one. I'm going to get the one that's right for me. Okay, so always go with a positive mindset. Don't feel bad, for example, if they're not what you want at that time, because you are suited to the perfect role. There's something that's going to match you perfectly, and that's the one you're going to get. Okay, my darling?
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. It's lovely having you. Oh, no, just so lovely. And thank you so much, Megan.
You're welcome.
And guys, if at home, maybe you are feeling a little bit down in the dumps about something and you feel like you need a makeover, please do email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv telling me the reason why you need a makeover, what you're going through, and how the makeover will help you. And we can see if you can be the next one to be on the show and get made over by this lovely Theresa Maegan Gregoire. All right, so it's time to go to a break, and we're going to be continuing with our safety theme, and I'll be discussing some tips with Excel on how to keep safe when you're out and about by yourself. So do stay tuned.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to today's program about personal safety. Now I'm going to go through 5 points to help you stay safe when you go out. And Excel, you're going to help me with this one, aren't you?
Certainly.
Alrighty, so the first one is awareness. Now, a lot of people think that defending yourself, it's about blocking punches and things like that, but true self-defense comes actually before any physical contact whatsoever. So be aware of your surroundings when you go out. Don't just, I know look, we had those interviews earlier, Excel, where people said they felt safe in London. It's great that, if you do feel safe, but you have to have your wits about you. You need to be aware of what's going on when you're walking around by yourself. Don't get distracted by your music or anything else, your phone. Just make sure, be aware of your surroundings. And actually studies have shown that most criminals pick targets that are distracted.
Yep. And also people look out for, if you do the same thing every time, if someone wants to target you, you're an easy target, because if you always follow the same path home, if you always get off the same bus and walk on the same side of the road, sometimes it's good to mix things up as well, because if you mix things up, you kind of throw the person off, because they say, oh, she's going to walk on that side today, or she's going to walk on the other side today. She's going to go in through the front door, she's going to go into the side door. So I think things like that, you're going to mix it up
definitely.
as well.
Alrighty. So the second one is trust your instincts, which is a really powerful thing at times. And I think all of us have this ability, and especially us women. And I'll give you an example. I was walking in, I think, Regent Street with my mum one day, and it was packed. The streets were packed. And all of a sudden, both of us at the same time noticed this man. He was just glancing at us, but I don't know what it was. We both instantly felt uncomfortable, and we said at the same time to each other, let's cross the road. So even though everywhere was packed, we both noticed this man out of all those people, and we crossed the road, and then he just disappeared. It was really weird. It was such a weird scenario. But trust those instincts. If you feel uncomfortable somewhere, or uncomfortable around someone, trust that. It's not that we're going to be sort of accuse anyone of trying to hurt you in any way, but those instincts are very, very powerful at times.
I mean, it's better safe than sorry, really, because if you're careful and you do something because you feel unsafe at the time, I'd rather be too careful than to be finding out, oh, if only I had trusted my gut. Because, with hindsight, everyone's a genius. But if you're in danger, the danger's already happened, and unfortunately, sometimes can be quite bad.
Yeah,
so,
it's true. So if you feel unsafe, it's probably because there is
probably
unsafe situation. So trust those instincts. Now, number 3 is you could consider some self-defense training, but with this one, you have to find something that's actually suitable, because you have those self-defense classes where you learn all the moves and the techniques, and it's more of like a dance than anything else. So you need to find something that's realistic, that maybe you don't have to do like over a long period of time before you get really good at it. I mean, there's some forms of self-defense, they're really quite realistic. They actually show you stuff in real situations that you could get yourself into, and you're not going to have time to sort of twist someone's thumb and all that stuff that they show in a lot of classes.
But I have to also add here, Chrissy, that even if you're learning these sort of things, sometimes it's not even about what you think you can do to beat the other person or, you know, punch him or knock his lights out and make him unconscious. Sometimes it's knowing what to do to break away, simple as. Knowing how to break away out of a hold, for example, knowing how to break away out if someone was to bear hug you from behind, what would you do? So you don't need to know any martial arts to break away from that. So simple breakaway techniques, and I think those sort of things are often offered by, I think the police sometimes provide things like that. So look in your local area as well. You never know what might be available. Just break away.
Okay, right. So number 4 is escape. So this is always your best option. Never, ever, ever, ever go with the predator, even if they say they will not harm you. Never leave where you are, because statistics show actually that you're more likely to get injured or killed if you go with the predator. So you need to run or throw something at them or attract attention. Do something, but never, ever, you know, leave with the person. If it's your purse, for example, something that you have in your possession thereafter, throw it in the opposite direction and run away. And that's it. Never go with them.
I mean,
even if they promise, I promise I won't hurt you. I promise nothing's going to happen to you. If you do what I say, I'll let you go.
See, you promise you won't hurt me, but you've just attacked me or put me in danger. That's no promise that I think I will be holding any merit to. I think something interesting that Megan just mentioned as well, I suppose having to do with escape. Have a whistle.
Yeah.
Ladies, have a whistle with you. There are these panic alarms you can carry that make a very shrill. Very shrill
you'd have time to check for a whistle though. Hang on a minute, let me just go into my handbag and get
just have it with you. No, for example, if you know you're always going down a dark alley, for example, maybe have it in your key ring. Because, for example, I always have my keys in my coat pocket. So woe betide anybody who decides to do anything to me one day, because I'll scratch your face silly. So, you know, but this is the thing. It's like you have to have your defense. This is the whole point of being aware. So have a whistle on your key ring or have your keys in your pocket. Put your keys. I'm not advocating violence, but it's called self-defense. Have your keys in your hand, and if he comes anywhere near you, you give him some marks on his face. And I think the police will find him a lot easier that way.
We're saying him, but it could be a female.
It could be a her, absolutely.
Please,
I'm not gender biased here. It could be it, whoever it is. Scoundrel, whatever you are, whoever you are.
Now, actually, Excel, following on from your point, and something that this is actually advised, that you should fight for your life. Fight. Right. If someone's attacking you or is about to attack you, if you need to fight. So whatever your age or your physical condition, you should always defend yourself. Now you actually have the moral right, and actually it's allowed.
You're allowed to use reasonable force. Reasonable force? Even
if the attacker has only threatened you and hasn't actually struck first, you still have the right to fight and defend yourself. So a lot of people worry about the sort of the repercussions of you know, fighting back, or even they think that, oh, what if I anger the attacker more by fighting? But actually, again, the statistics show very clear that the odds of survival are much, much bigger if you do fight back. So where do you think you should aim first?
Oh, I think I would go for his crown jewels, personally. If it was a he, that is.
Well, apparently.
No?
No, but it's a good one. That's the second one. But the first thing you should go for are the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Or something along those lines. Go for the eyes first and then the groin area, if it's a man.
Yeah. But I think if it's a woman as well, it probably would hurt down there as well. Oh. Yeah, it would. Oh, that area is quite sensitive. I've heard.
All right.
No, because I think at the end of the day, we're not sort of, you know, we're not obviously undermining this or sort of trivializing it, but I think it's a very important thing when your safety is threatened and you do want to make sure that, look, this person is not going to kind of come back around to me to do anything. And the expression we've all heard, attack is the best form of defense. So if my safety is threatened anyway, I will do whatever it takes to keep me safe. At the end of the day, I've got to look after number one. Exactly. And in that situation, you've got to make a quick judgment call. You've got to make a quick decision.
This is the thing. You have to also use the element of surprise as much as you can. Use that to your advantage. So you have to strike quickly. It says, so don't take your time. You have to show that you mean business, because you may only get one chance to do it.
Absolutely.
You only get one chance. Absolutely. So I hope those tips have helped. You know, hopefully you won't ever have to use them, but in case you do feel threatened in any way, there are some tips that could actually save your life. Because obviously when a person is attacked or, you know, something like that happens, it does affect them. They get stressed. Yeah. it affects their mental health. They can get depressed. They may stay indoors all the time. So it leads to all sorts of problems. So obviously prevention is better than cure. But if, for example, you have already been attacked and you are the kind of person now, you've become the person that stays at home because you're afraid or you're feeling down, don't keep that to yourself. Share that with someone. Talk about your concerns. If you need counselling, if you need anything, you know, to help with that, to help you get over and move on with your life, please do so. Don't stay at home and just get more and more depressed about it, because people do recover from things like this.
Absolutely, and there is help out there, because whenever you've been a victim of a crime, the police offer, there's a separate sort of body that deals with victim support. And I know, for example, even when I was pickpocketed, I actually had someone call me up to say, we're just calling up to check and see how you're doing.
Me too,
And it's actually quite endearing to know that these services are out there. And I think make the most of it. If we didn't have them, we'd complain we don't have these services. So the fact that they're there, let's use them. And I think it's always important to kind of get that help before it gets to the point where, instead of you just going, no, I'm okay, I'm a big girl, I'm a big boy, I can handle it, it's fine, it's no big deal. But then it kind of grows and grows, and any little noise reminds you of that traumatic experience, and it then sort of becomes something else. It sort of becomes bigger and bigger.
It does,
So, you know, let's nip it when it happens, and get the help that you can. It's better to kind of just flush it out of your system if possible, before it then stays there and takes root and grows and festers and causes anything else. So, I mean, this is the problem. This is where we have to kind of always make sure that we talk things through.
Excel, thank you very much for your participation today.
Can I just say, Chrissy, I have to say this, because I have to do a shout out to somebody I made friends with recently. His name is Jide. I have to make a shout out to Jide and his homies, who are hopefully watching tonight. So, hello.
Hello. All right, so we have reached the end of today's program. Thank you very much, Excel. And if you want more information about anything that you've seen on the show today, or more information about the program, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And if you are going through any kind of situation and you need my advice, don't forget you can also email me personally on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Do stay safe, and bye for now.